Today we're going to be looking at as many country music legends' graves as we can find. So let's start out with our first cemetery. Today I'm at Woodlawn Memorial Park. That was the name it went by all these years, but looks like the new sign says it's Woodlawn Roche Patton Funeral Home and Memorial Park now. And this is the entranceway to it. It's a very large cemetery, and it's also next to a very busy highway. As we take a look around at the cemetery, I'll mention that as we look at the country music legends graves that we'll be viewing in this video, there's going to be country music singers, and there's going to be a lot of those, as well as songwriters, producers, and etc. that make up the world of country music. Now on to the first grave site. From what I can tell, George Jones has the most elaborate marker in this cemetery. And he was a country music singer, songwriter, musician, as most people know. And there's benches on each side. And let's see if I can do a little bit of the actual marker that the sun won't be so bad on you. Looks like it shows George when he was younger. George also had two nicknames. One was No Show Jones, and he evidently didn't like that one, and that's not put on his marker. But his other nickname, the Possum, is on the marker. Now we're going to be taking a look at the final resting place of Johnny Paycheck. He was a country music singer. He's probably best known for his song, Take This Job and Shove It. Next, we're going to be looking at the gravesite of Billy Sherrill. Some people may pronounce it Sherrill. He was a producer and a songwriter, and he would produce people such as Johnny Paycheck, George Jones, Tammy Wynette, Johnny Cash, just to name a few. The next gravesite that we'll be taking a look at is that of Jerry Chestnut. He was a Hall of Fame songwriter for country music stars such as Johnny Cash, Dolly Parton, Porter Wagoner, Loretta Lynn, and he also wrote for George Jones and Tammy Wynette. Next, we're going to be looking at the gravesite of the country music singer that had the nickname Tennessee Plowboy, and that is of Eddie Arnold. And he is also known for having his own TV show. Now we're going to be looking at the gravesite of Dan Seals, a singer that started off doing soft rock but would switch over to country music. When he was doing the soft rock music, he was known as England Dan, and he was half of the duo of England Dan and John Ford Coley duo. He would sing a couple of songs that got more into the country music. Everything that glitters is not gold, and don't be blue anymore. Next, we'll be taking a quick look at Owen Bradley. He was a record producer. He would produce records for such people as Loretta Lynn and Conway Twitty and many, many more. Jerry was a record producer and a music executive in the country music field, and he's known for helping out with the early careers of people such as Dolly Parton, Alabama, and many, many others. Next, we're headed to the gravesite of Dobie Gray. He was a musician and a singer-songwriter, and he was known for writing pop, soul, and country. He also would write for people like Don Williams, Charlie Pride, just to name a couple. Next, we're going to be taking a look at the gravesite of Porter Wagoner, a country music singer, songwriter, musician. Porter Wagoner would own his own, or have, I should say, his own TV show for a while, and he's also well known for his flashy outfits that he wore. Now we're going to be taking a look at the gravesite of two country music singers. We're going to be looking at Wimley and Stoney Cooper, which was a duo singing, but also happened to be married. Now let's head on over to the Mausoleum part of the cemetery. Now we're going to be taking a look at the final resting place of Tom Paul Glaser. He was a country music singer, songwriter. He started out singing with his brothers, and the group was called Tom Paul and the Glaser Brothers. Next, we're going to be coming up on the final resting place of Jerry Hubbard, better known as the country music singer-songwriter Jerry Reed. Jerry had several songs that he sang that was very popular. I remember him from Smokey and the Bandit movies as being an actor, and he had a very, very popular song in that. The theme song for it, Smokey and the Bandit, that was Eastbound and Down. And Priscilla, his wife, was also a country music singer, and she would do a lot of duos with Roy Drusky. One that's very easy to spot because it always has so many pictures on it every time I come up. I don't know if they've got any new ones or not, but it does look like they have some new flowers on it, and it is of Tammy Wynette. Tammy Wynette was a country music singer. Just below Tammy Wynette's final resting place, we'll see the marker for K.T. Oslin. K.T. Oslin was not only a singer, but a songwriter as well. Now we're in a section of the mausoleum that has a mother-daughter country music singers, and I'll get back to that one in a minute, the picture, because I want to say a couple more things on it. And the first one is of Liz Anderson. She was a country music singer and songwriter. She would even write some of the songs for her daughter. And Lynn Anderson was known for being a country music singer, of course, and a couple of her most famous songs was Rocky Top and Rose Garden, and some people call it Never Promised You a Rose Garden. And they've now got a photo of her that they didn't have the last time that I came up here. Now you're getting a look at the final resting place of Ernie Ashworth, a country music singer, and you may remember one of his most popular songs is Talk Back Trembling Lips. Next to Ernie's final resting place is the final resting place of a songwriting duo team, Felice and Boudleaux Bryant, and they would write country music songs, and one of their more popular ones was, of course, Rocky Top. The one we're looking at now is easy to find because there's a statue just across from his final resting place, and that is of Little Jimmy Dickens. Of course, Little Jimmy Dickens was a country music singer. He's also known for a couple of other things. His height, which was less than 5 feet, and his rhinestone outfits. Next, we're going to be looking at the final resting place of Jim Ed Brown. He was a country music singer, songwriter. Jim Ed started out with singing with his sisters Maxine and Bonnie. Later on, Jim Ed went solo. Next, we're going to be taking a look at the final resting place of Van Stevenson. He was a country music singer, songwriter. He was the vocalist part in the country music band Black Hawk. Now we're going to be looking at the final resting place of Hattie Best, better known as Tootsie, the owner of Tootsie's Orchid Lounge in Nashville. And she also was only like 2 minutes if you went out her back door to the Grand Ole Opry, so she had a lot of stars coming to her place of business. She helped get a lot of them started by letting them play at her place, giving them a free meal. Going to be taking a look now at the gravesite of Bob Montgomery. He was a singer, songwriter, publisher, record producer. Now we're going to be taking a look at the final resting place for Webb Pierce, a country music singer, songwriter, and musician. Also, he's remembered by so many people for having a guitar-shaped swimming pool at his home. Next, we're going to be heading up to the gravesite of Marty Robbins. He was a country music singer, songwriter for country music, and a lot of people consider his music country western music. Marty Robbins would also have his own TV show for a good while. Going to be taking a look at the final resting place of Larry London or Lundine. I'm not sure how you pronounced his name. And he spelled his name Larry, L-A-R-R-I-E, which is a little different. And he was an awesome drummer as well as a sessions musician player for so many famous people. Too many for me to name, but I'll just give you a glance at some of the country music stars as well as others that weren't country music stars that he would play the drums for. Well, as we get ready to leave, this will wrap up day one of my cemetery search, and I will be doing another cemetery to add to this video tomorrow, so keep watching. For day two, I will start off at Hendersonville Memory Gardens in Hendersonville, Tennessee, and I'll start off by looking at probably the most visited grave there at the cemetery, that of Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash was a country music singer, songwriter, and also had the nickname of the Man in Black. The second gravesite we'll be looking at is the wife of Johnny Cash, that is June Carter Cash, and she's buried next to him. June was also a singer-songwriter. June Carter herself came from a singing family. This was even before she met and married Johnny Cash. Just below the grave of June Carter Cash, you'll see another country music singer. That is Rosanna Adams. She went by the name of Rosie Nix Adams, and she is the daughter of June Carter and Edwin Nix, which was June's second husband. Next up, we'll be looking at Joanne Cash Yates, the sister of Johnny Cash. She is also known to have recorded some country music. Next is the gravesite of another of Johnny Cash's sisters. That's Reba Hancock, and she was Johnny's personal manager or assistant for many years. Also in that row we'll find Joe Mathis, and he was a country music singer, but he was mainly known for his country music guitar playing, and that was with a double neck guitar. Next to him is buried his son, Dale Mathis, and Dale was also a country music singer-musician. Next, you'll be taking a look at country music singer-musician Mother Maybelle Carter. She was part of the first original Carter singing group, as well as being June Carter Cash's mother. Next to her is her husband, Ezra Carter, and he was the manager of the first Carter family group. Next, you're looking at the gravesite of Anita Carter, a country music singer that was part of the Carter Sisters singing group. This was one of Mother Maybelle Carter's daughters, Helen, and she was part of the singing group, the Carter Sisters and Mother Maybelle group. Next to Helen is her husband, Glenn. He was an airplane pilot, and he would fly country music stars to different locations, as well as being a for private company pilot. This is Helen Carter Jones's son, and he was just 17 when he would die, and he was just getting into the country music business. He was wrote a song that Johnny Cash would record and sing. Next, we'll be looking at another of Helen Carter Jones's son, and that is of David Lawrence Jones. He was a country music musician and played in bands for the Carter family, Johnny Cash, and many others. Now we're going to head on over to the gravesite of country music singer Charles Willis. We're now going to be looking at the gravesite of Bob Luman. He was a country music singer. Some people even referred to him as a rockabilly singer. Now we're going to be taking a look at the country music star Luther Perkins marker. Now we're going to come up on a couple of graves here side by side, and they both were singers. One was very, very young when he passed away, and I'll look at that first. That's Danny Husky, which was Fairland Husky's son, and he was just 18, not quite 18 when he died. And next is that of his dad, Fairland Husky. Next we'll be taking a look at the final resting place of Merle Kilgore, a country music singer and songwriter. And of course these markers also showing that he loved wearing rings on his hand. After we leave Merle's grave, we're going to head on down a few rows to see the final resting place of another country music singer-songwriter, and that is of Jesse David Wilson. And Jesse just also happened to be Merle Kilgore's son-in-law. Next I'll be heading on over to Jean Shepherd's final resting place. And she has a bright purple on her marker, and it's kind of easy to find. It's a nice picture of her. Heading to the gravesite of Sonny Osborne, which was one half of the duo, the Osborne Brothers. And one of their most popular songs was Georgia Piney Woods. Next we're heading to the gravesite of Max Barnes. He was a country music singer, songwriter, and he's probably best known as being the songwriter, but he did record a lot of songs himself. Next we'll be taking a look at the gravesite of Belton Lang. He was the road manager for country music legend Conway Twitty. He's also the father of country music star Kelly Lang. Now we'll be taking a look at the final resting place of Royce Porter. He was a country music singer, rockabilly type singer, but he's noted more for his songwriting to country music people such as George Strait, Tanya Tucker, Keith Whitley, and etc. So this is his gravesite, and then we'll head on over to the mausoleum. If you enter the mausoleum and look to the right, you'll almost immediately notice the final resting place of Howard F. Jenkins. Howard was actually Conway Twitty's brother, but he also performed in the Twitty Birds, which was Conway Twitty's band. Next, we'll be taking a look at the final resting place of Mayborn Axton. She was a music promoter as well as a songwriter. She worked with country music stars such as Mel Tillis, Reba McEntire, Willie Nelson, and Blake Shelton, just to name a few, as well as working with and being the mother of Hoyt Axton. Just a few rows up from Mayborn Axton, you'll see that of Shelby Woolley, better known as just Sheb Woolley. He was a country music as well as rock and roll singer-songwriter, and he was even an actor. You may remember him from the television show Rawhide, in which he played Pete Nolan. Next to Sheb Woolley, you'll be looking at the final resting place of Johnny Russell. Johnny Russell was known as a country music singer, songwriter, and a comedian. Next, we'll be looking at the final resting place of Charlie Walker. Charlie was a country music singer as well as songwriter, and he even acted in a few movies. The last gravesite we'll be looking at in this video is that of Michael Thomas. Michael was one of 7 of Reba McEntire's band members, along with her road manager that was killed in an airplane crash after a performance. Well, as I close out this video, I will say it's been a long 2 days and a lot of walking to find as many grave sites as I did. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good day.